The Galactic Naval Academy's training hall fell silent as Instructor Vexther, a towering Kralix with 4 arms and crystalline exoskeleton, gestured toward the combat simulation pod. 20 cadets from across the galaxy stood at attention, their varied physiology a testament to the Commonwealth's diversity. Anna Chen stood among them, her compact human frame dwarfed by the Draknar warriors beside her. At 5'6", she was the smallest cadet in the class, a fact that hadn't escaped the notice of the more traditional species who questioned humanity's recent admission to the academy. "Today," Vexther announced, his translator converting his clicks and whistles into standard galactic, "we assess close-quarters combat efficiency. The simulation, hostile boarding scenario, zero gravity, limited visibility." Jenny Akafer, another human cadet and Anna's closest friend at the academy, caught her eye from across the formation. He gave her a subtle nod. They'd trained together since arriving 6 months ago, 2 humans among 300 alien cadets, constantly having to prove themselves. The Draknar beside Anna, a 7-foot reptilian named Kresh, let out a dismissive snort. Perhaps the primates should observe first, learn how real warriors fight. Anna kept her eyes forward, jaw clenched. It wasn't the first insult, and it wouldn't be the last. Humanity had only made first contact 15 years ago, and their application to join the Galactic Commonwealth's military had been controversial. Too aggressive, some species claimed. Too emotional. Too unpredictable. "Cadet Chen," Vexther called out, "you'll enter first. Scenario difficulty level 7. Opponent count 10. A murmur rippled through the assembled cadets. Level 7 was typically reserved for final-year students. 10 opponents was excessive for a solo run. Anna's enhanced hearing, courtesy of the standard Academy genetic mods, picked up Kresh's whispered comment to his squad mate. "The instructor wishes to humble the human. About time." Anna stepped forward, her expression neutral. "Understood, instructor." "This is absurd," Jenny protested, breaking formation. "Sir, level 7 with 10 opponents is." Cadet Akafer, return to formation or join Cadet Chen in receiving a demerit. Vexther's 4 eyes fixed on Jenny with an intensity that brooked no argument. Jenny's hands balled into fists, but he stepped back. Anna entered the simulation pod, and the door sealed behind her with a pressurized hiss. The interior dissolved into darkness, and she felt the familiar lurch of simulated zero gravity taking hold. Her inner ear compensated quickly, another human advantage. Billions of years evolving on a rotating planet had given humans superior balance and spatial awareness compared to species from tidally locked worlds. Red emergency lights flickered on, revealing a corridor section of a Commonwealth cruiser. Anna's HUD flickered to life, displaying her objectives: neutralize hostiles, secure the command deck. Her only weapon, a standard-issue stun baton. The first attacker came from above, a mistake. Anna twisted, using a handhold to redirect her momentum, and her baton connected with the simulated Torvik pirate's thorax. In zero-G, the Torvik spun away, incapacitated. 2 more came from opposite directions, attempting to flank her. Anna planted her feet against the wall and pushed off, tucking into a spin that brought her between them. The baton cracked against one's weapon arm while her boot caught the other's head. The aliens had strength and reach, but they fought like they were still bound by gravity. Humans didn't have that limitation. 4 down, 6 to go. Anna could hear them now, the mechanical breathing apparatus, the scrape of claws on metal. They were coordinating, trying to corner her in the junction ahead. She killed her light, plunging the corridor into near-total darkness. The aliens relied heavily on their visual spectrum. Humans had evolved as persistence hunters, tracking prey for days across open savanna. Their pattern recognition, their ability to detect movement in low light, their endurance, all of it had been forged in Earth's crucible. Anna moved through the darkness like a ghost, her breathing controlled, her movements precise. She could feel her heart rate elevated but steady. Adrenaline sharpened her senses without overwhelming them. Another human advantage. Their stress response actually improved performance in short bursts, rather than triggering panic or paralysis like in many other species. The ambush came at the junction, exactly as she'd predicted. 6 opponents, coordinated strike. But Anna was already moving, had been moving before they attacked. She'd read their intentions in the subtle changes in air pressure, the faint sounds of positioning. What happened next would become legend at the academy. Anna used the confined space to her advantage, turning the aliens' numbers against them. In Zero-G, every action had an equal and opposite reaction. She became a ricocheting force of controlled chaos, using walls, ceiling, and floor interchangeably. Her baton struck with surgical precision, joints, nerve clusters, visual organs. Each hit was calculated not just for immediate effect, but for how it would position her for the next strike. The aliens fought as individuals occupying the same space. Anna fought as a single organism adapting to an environment. When the simulation ended, Anna floated in the center of the junction, breathing hard but controlled. 10 simulated enemies drifted around her, all incapacitated. The timer on her HUD read 4 minutes, 37 seconds. The pod door opened, and Anna reoriented herself, stepping out into the training hall's normal gravity. The assembled cadets stared at her in stunned silence. Even Vexther's crystalline features seemed frozen in something approximating shock. Time, the instructor finally asked his assistant. 4 minutes, 37 seconds, sir. All targets neutralized without lethal force. 0 damage to ship infrastructure. No injuries sustained by the cadet. Vexther's 4 arms crossed in what Anna had learned was the Krallick's gesture of deep consideration. The Academy record for that scenario is 6 minutes, 41 seconds, set by a Vorten commando with 15 years of combat experience. Kresh stepped forward, his crest flared in challenge. A simulation proves nothing. Luck in. Then you'll have no objection to a practical demonstration, Anna interrupted, her voice level. You and 9 others of your choosing. Hand-to-hand Academy rules. Right here, right now. The training hall erupted in shocked chatter. Challenges were permitted under Academy regulations, but they were rare, considered reckless. Kresh's eyes narrowed, his tongue flicking out to taste the air, a Drachner gesture of aggression. Accepted, he hissed. 10 minutes later, the training hall had been cleared into an improvised arena. Kresh had chosen his squad, all Drachner, all from warrior castes, all significantly larger and stronger than Anna. Jenny stood at the edge with the other human cadets, his face tight with worry. Instructor Vexther raised one arm. Academy rules. No permanent damage. Fight ends when one side yields or is incapacitated. Begin. The Drachner rushed forward in a coordinated assault, their training evident in their formation. They sought to overwhelm through mass and strength, a tactic that had served their species well for millennia. Anna didn't retreat. She moved forward into the assault, finding the gaps in their coordination. Humans had spent their evolutionary history hunting in packs, reading social cues, anticipating group behavior. She could see their strategy before they executed it. What followed wasn't a fight. It was a masterclass in human combat doctrine. Anna used leverage over strength, technique over power. She exploited the Drachner tendency to rely on their natural advantages, turned their expectations against them. When they expected resistance, she yielded, redirecting their momentum. When they expected retreat, she attacked. She struck nerve clusters, pressure points, joints, targets that negated their size advantage. One by one, the Drachner fell. Not through brute force, but through precision, timing, and an almost supernatural ability to predict and counter their movements. When Kresh finally hit the mat, his arm locked in a joint submission he couldn't break without injury. The training hall was silent except for Anna's controlled breathing. She released him and stood, extending a hand to help him up. Kresh stared at it for a long moment before accepting. How? He asked, his translator carrying genuine confusion. Anna smiled, tired but satisfied. We're not the strongest or the fastest, but we evolved solving problems, adapting to change, never giving up. We're persistent, we learn, and we never ever quit. Instructor Vexther approached, all four arms extended in the Krallick's gesture of highest respect. Cadet Chen, Cadet Akafer, report to my office after class. It seems humanity's reputation for being too aggressive requires reevaluation. Perhaps what we mistook for aggression is simply competence. As the cadets dispersed, Jenny joined Anna, grinning widely. 10 aliens on the floor. The humans are going to love this story. Anna rolled her shoulder, already feeling the bruises forming. Let's just hope Command sees it the same way. But as she walked toward the exit, she caught the changed expressions of her fellow cadets, no longer dismissive but considering, respectful. Humanity had proven themselves today, not through technology or firepower, but through the same traits that had taken them from the African savanna to the stars: adaptability, endurance, and a stubborn refusal to accept limitations. The galaxy was learning what it meant to fight beside humans, and what it meant to fight against them.